OverDose vapes. Keep your coils tight. Keep your wicks wet. If you're looking for new flavors, all about the clouds, bro. Filling up a clear road, we're dripping on the sub-ohm. Reviews for the juice while Trevor Josh post viewed on YouTube. And prepare for overdose.
Hello and welcome back to OverDose Vapes, you OverDose vapors. And yeah, so we're looking at some e-liquid today, and it's probably from someone you have heard about before. I know I've heard about him before, and yeah, and that's not just because he sent this liquid out, which he did for this review, but that won't change my opinion of it, obviously. And this is from Tony B. It's the newest from the Sugar Lips line, and it's called Dirty Grin. Dirty Grin, Dirty Chin. I don't know what I was going with that. But anyways, it is a cereal flavor. It is a cereal, marshmallow, mixed berries, and milk flavor. Kind of like the way that they have marketed it is kind of like a cereal for dessert kind of flavor. And that sounds great to me. It's really right up my alley. I like stuff like that. I'm a big fan of cereal flavors, and I'm a big fan of dessert flavors. So, sounds good to me. The art on the bottle is really nice. It comes in a 100 ml bottle. I'm trying it in 3 milligram. And let's go take a look at it up close with the music right now. Review. I have it on the Bonza, although this is not the obviously the stock Bonza cap. I have a Trinity Glass hardware cap on here. This is not specifically made for the Bonza, but it fits on the Bonza, so I'm using it. And I have the US 1 mech bond from Trinity Glass hardware as well. Okay, so let's get to vaping it, and let's see what we think. So, mixed berries, marshmallow, milk, and cereal. That's the flavors that we're expecting to have here. And I have a pair of triple core, 3 cores, 24 gauge fuse Claptons, and 4 wraps, very low ohms. Yeah, let's vape it. So the thing I like about it, this is not my first impressions. I've been vaping this a little bit. As you guys saw, I've probably vaped about a quarter of the bottle so far. And the thing I really like about it is that the dry cereal part of it is the flavor I get the most of. To me, it tastes a lot like the dry cereal part of, like the little cereal, like the actual cereal part of Lucky Charms. It's a little bit sweet, but a little bit grainy, not in texture, but in flavor. And it's just got that really nice, dry, sweet cereal flavor, which I think is spectacular. I don't get a ton of like milk or marshmallow per se as a flavor, but more of like kind of a softening of the texture of the overall experience. I definitely think there is a creaminess here. And as far as the berries, they say mixed berries. I don't get that what you would think of as like a traditional mixed berry, which I don't have a great opinion of what people refer to as mixed berries. It just always tastes to me like a little bit artificial, a little bit cheap. When somebody says they have a mixed berry flavor, that's usually a bad sign to me. But in this case, it's more of just like a anonymous, like berries anonymous flavor. I couldn't pinpoint it as any specific fruit or a specific berry, but it just has kind of a nice tart fruit flavor to kind of sharpen up the round edges of this dry cereal, which I think is great. I really enjoy this flavor. It's got a really nice, super interesting dry cereal flavor and texture with a little bit of cream and a really nice sharp fruit note, which I think just works. It works on all these levels. It's very nuanced. It's a very soft flavor altogether, like as a whole. It's very light. It's not doesn't have a ton of flavor saturation, but it has enough that it works really well in how I like to vape, which is low ohms and with a mech mod. Now I have used it in a tank, which is a rebuildable tank. It also had fairly low ohms, but it seemed to lose a little bit of its flavor saturation. What little it has it lost a little bit of that in the process of using a tank. So not all tanks obviously are going to be built equally, but the one that I was using, it just wasn't that great. It wasn't that great of an experience, and so I highly recommend using it with an RDA. But I think most flavors are like that. In all honesty, you're always going to get the best flavor representation, at least from what I've seen in my experience with vaping, out of an RDA. So yeah, that's kind of like not the best advice, because I think that most people will agree that RDAs are always going to have the most pure flavor. Got good vapor production. I'm not exactly sure what the ratio is. It feels about 70-30. Yeah, I got no problem with this. Anybody talking smack on the old Tony B's dirty grin, I don't know what you're talking about. To me, it's good. I really like it. I have a couple other flavors from the Sugar Lips line. I have Tropical Kiss, I think is the name of one of them, Tropical Smile, and then the other one is Blue Pucker. We'll take a look at those soon, but to me, this was definitely like the one I was most interested in trying, because it's the flavor I'm most interested in personally. I like cereals, and I like dessert flavors, and to merge those two is super interesting. So I like what they did here. It is not your typical cereal. And there's no citrus notes. There's none of those trappings of like dish soap, which some people get from those high concentrations of lemon and lime in most cereal vapes. This is about the cereal itself, not about fruit cereal. So I really enjoy it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. That might, some people might not agree with me, but I think once steeped, this flavor really develops into something unique and something really, really tasty. So good job to Tony B and the people that he worked with to develop this line. It's a winner for me, and I will indeed be vaping this whole bottle, on my off time, which really goes to, show something. So, yeah, thank you so much to Tony B for sending this out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep your coils tight. We'll see you then. Peace out.